Good morning and welcome to Bloomberg Market News, bringing you the latest updates on the recently announced M&A deal between Royal Dutch Shell and BG Group. Recent report data by Bloomberg show that hedge fund managers have started to increase their holdings of short derivative and common stock position in BG Group, betting against the deal going through. As we can see in the price chart being rolled out, BG's share price has since plummeted almost 10% from its peak level of 1,170 pence a share seen at the end of yesterday's trading. With me today I have Gennaro, merger and acquisition expert, who is going to share with us what implications this might have for markets. So, Mr. Gennaro, could you explain and share some color about what is happening in the M&A deal scene at the moment?
Well, thank you, Malker. So as you said, with the growth of M&A activities we've seen over the last few years, we've noticed that an increasing number of investors are going short against recently announced M&A transactions, betting against those deals to go through. 2015, indeed, is expected to be a record year for M&A according to Goldman Sachs. But if the BG Shell deal, the biggest so far this year, does not go through, well, that might force a lot of companies to rethink about their strategies and be way more cautious about these type of activities, which in turn might perhaps put an end to the booming area of M&A deals.
So, how come markets have started to react stronger on these type of positions?
Well, I guess one of the reasons is that there are much more data and information available today than there were before. For instance, with the new functions that are available in the terminal, we can now see financial institutions long, short, and derivative position on M&A deals in real time. And this not only brings more transparency into the financial market, but also allows investors to make better informed decisions. And that's why you're looking at this data much more closely today.
Thank you so much, Gennaro, for those insights. And now over to Mr. Hedtrum, who has a special guest with him today.
Thank you very much, Malker and Gennaro. And with us here today, we have Hubi Kos, application specialist at Bloomberg. Hubi, as an expert in touch with the big market players out there, how do you think that this kind of data can add value to Bloomberg clients?
This type of data is actually key to these people doing their actual job on a day-to-day basis. In particular, some of the large institutions that we cover, in particular one of the international ones, has a dedicated desk of a team of 4 people that actually focus particularly on the M&A activity. They have one dedicated person that surfs through the actual news, trying to get information about the deal, whether it's going to go ahead, what it's pricing at. And if they can actually streamline the information, use that resource they have by using our technology and our information, that makes them a bit more profitable. Also, this desk is the biggest generating desk of actual commission within that institution as well too. So it's extremely relevant for our clients, this type of information, getting it quickly, getting it accurately, and getting the history behind it as well.
Thank you very much for that input. And Hubi, how do you think that this kind of information can be used by Bloomberg News today?
Well, news in particular are always looking at actually what's happening out there in the market. Some of the key events that are actually happening, in particular the acquisition of Shell and BG, I think that's a very big deal. I mean, the market itself has kind of seen M&A activity increase by over 30% in year on year. So this whole merger arb sector is actually alight with information. For us as news people, what makes a difference for them is actually how do you actually price that deal? So this is what actually makes news. What price is the deal going to go ahead at? If we get that information by actually declarations from companies about how much they've bought or sold at certain prices, we can get an indication about how to value that actual company, if that deal is going to go ahead or not. And that, as always, will make the news.
Thank you very much for coming here to be with us today.